What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Second Street Marvel. I hope you're all having a very good day today. I can tell you it's been certainly a very busy day here for me. Yeah, as you all know, I run a small business myself and everything's just having to get everything ready for that. I just had a lot of things that I've been doing lately. I didn't get some of my work that I should have had done for today for my job or for my business done yesterday. I was actually happened to get out on get a message from one of my good friends, Ryan, over at Nerdy Blurb TV a couple days ago. In case you guys don't know who Ryan over at Nerdy Blurb TV is, you can always go down to the description here in any of my videos. Should be there on just about all of them nowadays, where you can go there and check out it's at the very bottom, just above where I have who done the intro music that I use is Ryan from Nerdy Blurb TV. It is his channel that you can find down there, and just go check out all the awesome content that he does. But I just happened to get a message from him to get on and collaborate, do a collaboration video. We're talking just about what we kind of think about the streaming services and how it's going to affect, I guess, kind of the future of our entertainment and movies and things like that. It was a pretty good chat. We got on there and I don't know, we probably talked for 30, 45 minutes or so, and we were talking a little bit before that, a little bit, and actually for a lot, we probably went just as long afterward, after we had the conversation. It was a really good time. Like I said, in case you guys don't know who Ryan over at Nerdy Blurb TV is, you should go and check out his channel. It was funny. We kind of had a conversation about just about these streaming services, and then about our YouTube channels, why we started, how we started, and what our goal was. I mean, because when you're starting one of these channels, you should have a goal. And it's funny how his channel, the same as mine is. If you're a content creator out there, probably the same as a lot of us. We have this journey that you go on. Like you start YouTube with this plan. You know what you want to do, and then it quickly takes on a life of its own. It turns into something else, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's not necessarily a bad thing, because sometimes it just, like I said, it takes on a life of its own. I had a plan where I was just going to come here and present my theories on the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it quickly grew into like comics and things like that. I also want to talk about music, and I think the way a channel kind of goes through its evolution is the fact that you start out with your idea, and then you kind of get into the content. Like, I was going to do just like Marvel theories. I was here to present my Marvel theories, and then I realized, at some point, especially like right now, how it is kind of I guess you could say, in the industry, is that there's a lot of news, there's a lot less news happening right now, as far as like MCU news. So people, we can see clearly that people are starting to scrape to the bottom of the barrel, and I've talked about this before. And there's, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that, because I mean, if you've got a channel, you've got to have content to put out there, and that's what I try to strive for here. Is it grew into something else. I started sharing more of myself, and the channel kind of evolved that way. Like I said, I started doing these videos called the Superhero Life Tips, and I have a great one that I want to get done for you all. Hopefully, I can get that done later today. After I get done with work, I've got to go see my chiropractor, get some things worked out. My chiropractor is actually a guy I ride bikes with. In case you guys don't know, I am a cyclist. So, and this dude, I don't know, he's got a handful of years on me. He's not like that much older than me, but if you've seen this dude, you'd be like, man, this dude is how old? Man, and he's a beast, man. He like when we're going out there riding, this dude's like, he's one of the best riders that we have out there. And like I said, he's probably got about 10 years on me. Okay, so and like I said, it's something that, this is a direction my channel is kind of taken as well, sharing some of myself. And I think as a content creator, that's something that's important for us, where we have like our normal content, where you see me talking a lot about comic books and even movies. We all have personalities too. And I think that's good for some of the channels to share that. I don't see enough channels out there doing that, sharing enough of themselves. You see enough of their content, you see what they got, and that's fine. That's fine, because that's what brings in viewers like yourselves onto our channels. Is some of our main hub content, where you see me mostly talking about comic books and movies, because these are the things that I am for my channel and the content that I want to do. These are the core things, but these are things that I am good at, things that I know about. Now, comic books, I am newer into reading, so I talk about them. I don't talk about them necessarily like I have a whole bunch of knowledge. I won't pretend to know something that I don't know, and that's the same thing goes for movies. You've seen me talk about movies. I could sit here and break movies down for you, cinematics and all this kinds of different stuff. But that by no means that I know about all movies, because there's certainly movies out there I haven't seen, and I'm not going to pretend like I don't know. So again, that's something I think a lot of people out there should share, and I'm going to be bringing some guests on very soon to help just talk about some of these other things and get some of these other guests on here. And that's part of what I did yesterday. I was talking to Ryan over at Nerdy Blurb TV. I want to get him here on the channel. I also want to get some other people that he has introduced me to, because there are other people out there who have started their channels just like me, who want to share their love of film, who want to share their reviews of films and things like that. And that's what I do here on the morning movie chats, and that's what I want to get more into. And not only people who are some of these movie reviewers out there who I've been lucky enough to touch bases with, but also to bring in other people, guests as well. But those will be for other separate videos, probably not necessarily just here on the morning movie chat, because there are some other things that I want to concentrate these morning chats on just the movies. But that being said, thank you all so much for being here today. Again, I always say I'm going to try to keep these short, and sometimes they go a little bit long, but if you could do me a favor, if you're not already subscribed, please make sure you're subscribed. And one important thing is to make sure you click that little bell so you get notifications. You get notified anytime I plan on doing a live video, let alone anytime that I all of a sudden go out and just go live just out of the blue, like I've pretty much been doing with these, even though I need to set these things up, get the thumbnail and everything out there so you guys know to be here, so you can get some reminders for that, just in case. But like I said, I'm a busy dude, you know what I mean? I've got 3 kids and all that stuff. But anyway, if you could do me one other favor, make sure you smash that like button. And if you don't like me or my channel or what I'm saying here, feel free to give a dislike too. I honestly don't really care about that kind of stuff. I don't look into these kind of things. I don't sit there and be like, I'm not here on social media for validation. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't like my videos, hey, fine with me, man. I'm not gonna look into it too much. Like, oh, this person don't like me. I just don't do that. It's all good. Like I said, this is a free world. We're all free to have our own thoughts. So if you don't like the content, it's all good, man. It's all good. But you know what? At least let me know down in the comments, like some of your thoughts. You don't even have to tell me why you don't like the channel. Just let me know some of your thoughts, because your guys' input is what's crucial to me growing as a content creator, but also some of the conversations that we have here on the channel. So that being said, thank you all so much once again for being here. Russell Wells Benjamin, thank you for being here, sir. I do appreciate it. He says, yeah, I just got yelled at by a millionaire because I saved him $5,000 on his insurance. People are never happy. That's absolutely true. You know what I mean? You try, and you know what it was? It was probably over the most mundane reason that he's upset at you for something like that. You know what I mean? Like you save him money. He's like, oh, I don't want you to save me money. I want the best coverage. It's like, well, I got you. I got you just like the same coverage you had, and I saved you some money. Whoa, like. You don't always get what you pay for, pal. You don't always get what you pay for. Sometimes you pay less, you get more. I mean, not in all cases, but there are deals out there. You should look into those and save money. Try to be as frugal as you can at times, and especially if you're a millionaire. Did you get to be a millionaire by flushing money down the drain? Just tossing it into the wind, saying, "Hey, here you go." Of course you didn't. And you would think somebody like that in that position would know that, right? Tracy Woody, thank you so much for being here. I truly do appreciate it. Again, Tracy is one of our Patreon supporters. And thank you to all my Patreon supporters who are out there. We have several of them, and you know what? Before we go on, maybe we should give all of them a shout out. One of them is definitely Tracy Woody. Been a big supporter here of the channel. Jay, if you guys don't know who Jay is, he is Jay Drunk 3PO. You should go check out his channel. On some of my old videos, I had him linked in there, just promoting videos like when we do some Black Guys in a Drunk on Tuesday evenings. Good supporter. Marty McFly Sr., which is another local guy here to me. A very good gentleman who is one of my Patreon supporters, and Joseph Lennon, who is another Patreon supporter who have reached out to me through Patreon and decided to support the channel. And I do thank you guys all so much for your support, as well as all you viewers, because like I said, you viewers are who make this show exactly what it is. Russell Benjamin Wells says, upset I got him higher limits for a lower premium. Just received his account through my agency. Now he's pissed. He's been overpaying for years. Oh, okay. Well, and that makes sense too. That makes sense too. There should always be somebody out there willing to save us money. And it seems like in our society these days, that's not really what people think of. Like, when people, fast food, for example, people go through the drive-through and they're like, and they're sitting there ordering their food, and you never hear the person on the other side of the window say, you know what, sir, everything you're getting, would you just like to get a number three? Because you're getting the soda, you're getting the fries, and you're getting the burger, and instead of paying for it all separately, I can go ahead and put that in a meal for you. Like, are you gonna be mad and be like what, man? I've been doing this for years. Of course you're gonna be mad because the person on the other window should have been suggesting that the whole time. Should have been looking for ways for you to save them money. You know what I mean? You should be looking for those ways. So I totally get that. Yeah, he should be upset about that. Because there should be somebody out there that has the care to look into something like that. That's it's not always about the bottom dollar. It's about what you can do to save money, because essentially as the insurance company, you're still making money. It's not like you're losing money by saving that guy money. You know what I mean? So I totally get you. Maverick Pilgrim, welcome to the live stream. I am going to get to my LCS today, and I'll check out those issues for you, and I'll get something, and we'll get those sent out for you here soon enough, sir. And again, it's no problem. I'm pretty sure they still have all of those issues available. I've heard of places selling out of those, like those issues, those comic books where people are going out and buying bunches of different ones and going through and selling them on eBay for like twice the price and stuff like that. Like, really, bro? Like, these are comic books, man. Like I get it if it was something that had already gained value. Like you walk into my comic shop, there's some of the books that come out and they're automatically that much higher in price the day I walk in there because the value of them went up because speculators and just different things like that. But like, these ones aren't like that as far as I know. I mean, people are putting value into them because it's just like this run that's going on right now, and it's kind of going to be setting things up for the future. But like, going out and charging a lot of money for these when you can go into a local comic shop that has them and get them for cover price, that's ridiculous to me. I don't understand that kind of thing. Now, if I went in there and they were $10 a piece, I'd be like, okay, well, somebody wants to buy them from me, I'm going to sell them for $10 a piece. But like, yeah, I don't know. But again, it comes with value. That some of the things that we value in this world, and I guess today, I guess we're going to talk more about this SpiderMan Sony deal. It seems, like day after day, and this is what I said on the very first day on my first live stream when I started talking about this is, we got to take this one step at a time, folks. You know what I mean? You get on social media and you see people just overreacting to this thing. And it's like, and it's not even just like the MCU stands. It's not even Spider-Man stands. It's everybody. There's people out there that are so upset about this whole Sony Spider-Man deal, questioning his future in the MCU. Now, you guys know here on my channel, the one thing I preach about this constantly is, you know what, let's try not acting out of emotions. Let's try to think about things rationally. Now, however, some of that comes through, and this is something I was talking with my friend Ryan yesterday, through some of the misconceptions out there in the media. When we get some of these people who on social media, be it on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, here on YouTube, and people who are perpetuating this kind of negative state, and not necessarily that they're trying to perpetuate it purposefully, but this negative state of, I've got to be the first one to break the story, like oh my God, I just heard the story, let's get online right now and make, do a live stream, or let's go make a post and talk about it and start this conversation. Well, the thing is a lot of these people are grasping at straws, man. They're wanting to pounce on it so fast that they don't have all the information. So what happens then is misinformation, and that not necessarily spreads fear in a sense, but it spreads this misunderstanding of the whole situation. And I really feel that's exactly what's going on here, and that's why I like to go to, and I've talked about this constantly, is a channel like the Den of Nerds. Josh over at the Den of Nerds has done a phenomenal job of reporting about all this stuff and keeping a level head about it, and just telling people like, hey, calm down here, folks, like everything's okay. There's so much going on in the story that we don't know about. Now, he's speculated on some things, and I think that he's not too wrong in the fact that some of this story probably leaked out somewhere probably either out of Sony or somebody in the Marvel Studios. This is probably leaked out, as maybe a way to get some backlash. Drunk 3PO, welcome to the live stream. And there he is right there, you guys. Go ahead and go check out Drunk 3PO's channel. Like I said, good Patreon supporter. But the thing is, everybody's trying to jump up and pounce on these stories, just like that quick, without all of the information. And that's where a lot of these things start to. That's when some of these things start to get out of hand. Is, people take so and so seriously because that's the person that they watch, and that's fine. But look at who you're getting your information from and what are they telling you. And that's too much what we see of here online is that starts some of this discourse is just through misinformation. Not that some of these people are trying to mislead you. It just happens because they don't have all the information, and perhaps they don't have the scrutinous eye to look at some of these stories and be like, okay, like what's going on here is this, like a lot of people are reacting this way, but here's really kind of what's going on and why this is happening. And there's just too many people out there who are just too quick to jump on the story to really look into the information that they have. Like I went through and read that initial article from Deadline like several times to really see exactly what all they're talking about here. And you can see over these, just even these past day and a half, we've seen people start to unfold this story a little more and say, okay, it's not exactly what it thinks it is. Sony was getting all this backlash and stuff for their kind of involvement in the situation, and and that's fine. People are talking about boycotting and stuff. Like to me, like not all boycotts are silly, but some of these things are absolutely ridiculous. It takes. We can see that fans can go out there and voice their opinions, and the studios will listen. You know what I mean? And don't think that Sony Pictures and Disney and Marvel Studios aren't listening. They know that we want Spider-Man in the MCU. They know that. The thing is can they find a means that where they both benefit from it about equally, I would say, because really, if you think about it, Sony merely owns the name and the product of Spider-Man. They're not the ones that have made this huge success that Spider-Man is in the MCU. In the MCU, and I say that because Sony has had success with their Spider-Man films in the past. They absolutely have. Now, whether you like them or not, doesn't matter. Whether they're good films or not doesn't matter. The mere fact is Sony Studios, Sony Pictures has made money and made good money making Spider-Man films. So there's a lot of things to be said about these kinds of subjects, and that's why I think it's bad when we get this just everybody pouncing on this. And you guys can see right off the get-go, my very first stream, I was saying the same thing, like, guys, like, let's calm down, let's take a look at exactly what's going on here, because I'm not, and I wouldn't say it's fear-mongering, it's just the spread of misinformation, and that's totally not what I want to do with this channel, is keep you guys misinformed, or at the point where, you're sitting there triggered by this information. And the thing is this information is kind of triggering, because to me, I hear Spider-Man's not going to be in the MCU, like their deal is done, it's kind of gone sour, like that's upsetting to me, because I like what they've done. I've liked this partnership that they have made, and hopefully they will continue that forward, because it's not over. That's the ultimate thing, is it's not over. And I've talked about, gone on about how I don't think it's over anyway, considering they had a deal in place in the first place that I think we're at least going to get one more Spider-Man film, no matter what happens with this deal going forward. I truly do believe we will have at least that one other film going forward. And the thing is because the MCU has had these things planned, a couple years out ahead of time. So I'm sure that they made sure when they were doing the initial deal that they had that stipulation in there. We're going to make X amount of movies, and that's just our deal right now. Now they're just wanting to renegotiate that deal, and that's and that's perfectly fine. And like I said, Josh from Den of Nerds just kind of broke down some of that too, and plenty of other people have noticed that like this deal that like they're trying to make, like it's one of those kind of deals like, okay, you're not making me an offer I can't refuse, you're making me an offer I can't accept, right? Because like asking some of the things that they're asking is a little bit ridiculous and a little bit over the top. And that's not to say that it's not justified at the same time, because we can see that the success that they have had in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with this character. And let's not forget one thing. People talk about Spider-Man making $1 billion in the MCU and all this stuff on this last film. And let's not forget, that's not all due to Marvel Studios and Disney, okay? Because you got to remember that Sony still put forth the money to market this movie. They put forth a lot of money. I think I read somewhere, and I could be wrong about this, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, but I think they said the advertising budget for Far From Home was higher than that of Avengers Endgame. Okay, and you got to think about that. That's absolutely ridiculous. You know what I mean? Absolutely ridiculous. And like I said, I could be wrong about that, but all I know is they spent a substantial amount of money. So if there was that deal, like everybody's been talking about, with they've got to make X amount of money to have control, creative control over it, why would Sony spend all that money marketing the movie? Because they want it to be successful. And that's the thing we've got to keep in mind when it comes to this whole story going forward. But let's go ahead and get here into the live chats again, see what everybody else says. Maverick Pilgrim, you're the man, so appreciative. Thanks so much. Oh yeah, no problem, dude. No problem. Like I said, I'll go over there today and get those picked up and see what the price is for you. We'll get it all taken care of. People are freaking out because they bought Disney stock. I don't know why they would freak out about that. Even I heard Josh saying that that Sony took a dip, and like this is ridiculous. But that's how the market works. That's how the market works. But like as an investor. You shouldn't want to worry about those kind of fluctuations, because what's going to happen is it's going to dip right now. But then something else is going to happen right along the way. D23 is going to happen this weekend. Say they make they come to an agreement by then, and they got this great announcement. That stock is going to go, it's going to shoot right back up. So these just things of it for if you're an investor to think about. You got to think about the long term, not just about like right now. Drunk 3PO again, welcome to the live chat. He says, I love misinformation. Yeah, and it's true. And sometimes that's kind of what drives our channels, and having conversations about exactly like this. Where I'm talking more about the spread of the misinformation as opposed to necessarily the information itself, because in this case the misinformation is more important than the actual information, because people are absolutely freaking out about this because they don't have all of the right information. Like they've got certain pieces, not all of them. Russell Benjamin Wells says, yeah, kudos to Josh. I love level-headed reporting. And that's the thing is, you can see, like, I was talking about this the other day, is he's not afraid to get down there in the muck of all these clickbaity sites and go check them out and ingest it all and go ahead and put it back out there for us all to take back in, because he's one of those like secondhand sources that I truly trust. Because I mean, like, I don't think Josh over the dinners has inside. I'm sure he has inside sources for some things, yeah, certainly, but on some of the things he don't have, and a lot of places don't have all the inside sources. So it would be a secondhand information, and I like what he does there, and that's one of the reasons why I definitely like Josh over at the Den of Nerds and that channel. Support them. I will support that channel till the end, man. They're growing a great brand over there. Maverick says, yeah, she's pretty nice. I don't know her real well. Misinformation, you mean? That's funny. They are both leaking stuff just for leverage. And I think that's true. I think that's true to a point. I think that's kind of how this story got out there, was a little leak. So they're like, okay, let's put this out there so maybe we can help either make this deal or get people out there reacting to it, so we can get the crowd's reactions, audience reactions, to either pressure Disney or for Disney to put pressure on us, so we can get this deal done. Because I think Sony still wants to play ball with him. And I think Disney still wants to play ball with him. But at the same time, one of the things with, and that was part of that Sony report, was Kevin Feige at some point, he's going to become overworked with all of these properties. And that's why it was always kind of a good thing that they all stayed separate in studios, and should have just all played ball and made films that intermingled together, is because, not one person has to oversee it. Like, it's easier for Kevin Feige to oversee his part and then work with other producers and saying, okay, here's what we need to do. Here's our game plan going forward. Put this in your movie. Like, we need these specific things in here, and then do whatever else you want. And that's kind of how he runs the MCU in the movies there in the first place. He's like, we need X, and X to happen, or X, Y, and Z. I guess you don't want X. You know what I mean? X, Y, and Z to happen, and then you're free to do A through S. You know what I mean? Or A through T. In those sort of ways. So I think at some point they're probably also thinking about the well-being of their producer. As we know, even if you're a content creator here on YouTube, we've seen people out there who the pressure gets to as well. Doing a lot of these things is stressful. It can have an impact on your life. As silly as you may think that sounds, it's absolutely true, and we all know, just through society in our own lives, that our mental well-being is something that's very important. And I think that's something that goes on and even plays a part in somebody like Kevin Feige, because Look at what he's done. Look at what he's been doing. Look at all he has to balance. You know what I mean? I hate to think what this, and I don't know if, if he's somebody like me who tries to lead a healthy lifestyle, but I hate to think what a lot of that stress would actually do to his body and the negative effects of it. Because me, I try to keep myself pretty stress free. You know what I mean? And you can see that. That's why you don't see, aside from the gray, you can see that I'm still a good looking man for my years. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, but yeah, and that's the thing is, level-headed reporting. We got to keep it that way. And the leaking stuff just for leverage, I'm sure that's exactly what happened there. Misinformation was a know-it-all. Our relationship didn't last long, right? Yeah, that misinformation. Dang it, she's a getter. That's weird. Came through twice. Oh yeah, I know. YouTube gets that way sometimes. Like I commented on a video the other day, and like my phone wasn't hooking up, and like I got on there later and seen it. I commented it like 4 or 5 times. I'm like, I didn't do this. So I went through and deleted some. I'm like, I didn't do this. This is weird. Facebook always does that a lot too. Mic and shot. Yeah, I know. I've been playing with it. I normally have it down at the bottom, not at the top. I don't know. It's all good. I mean, I know it does cover up some of my handsome face, but yeah, I don't know. We see the mic. Now I know where he hides it. No, you don't. You don't know where I hide my mic at. During 3P says my Spider-Man video was just about the Twitter bots. Oh, you know what? And I haven't watched that one yet. But yeah, the Twitter bots, man, that's crazy, dude. Like people are out there acting just so outrageously. I mean, it's just so crazy. Like everybody's like, I get it. We love Spider-Man in the MCU. Hell, Eric July, Young Ripper 59 even did a video talking about this. Like whoa, like this is a big thing. He's like, it makes me want to sign off of Twitter seeing all this stuff go on, because it's not even discourse at this point. It's ridiculousness. And that's what he was even on there saying, like look, man, like I get people being upset, he's like, you hear me criticize a lot of the stuff in the MCU and things like that, and how they've done things holding true to the source material, but that's not for everybody, like not everybody feels that way. But then you go and you see all these reactions online. It's like, man, like people are taking this to the next level, to this extreme. That's absolutely, it's mind-boggling to somebody like me. It's mind-boggling. Okay, gosh, it's bothering you guys, isn't it? Okay. All right. Dang it. Okay. Is that a little bit better? There we go. You can probably hear me a little bit better too this way. Maybe so. I don't know. I could be wrong. But anyway, and I gotta be honest, it kind of bugs me too, seeing it there, and I was just like, man, I just want to roll with it. But let's go ahead and get into this. But yeah, the Twitter bots, man, it's getting crazy. Yeah, that would be quite a cliffhanger to end the Marvel Spider-Man films on. Plus, everyone would still go see Sony's Spider-Man movie. We all know we will, and yeah, I certainly will. I certainly will go support their Spider-Man movies. I mean, for one, I can't criticize it or say whether it's good or not if I don't go see it, right? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I'm certainly not somebody to take somebody else's word over a movie. That's the last, because let alone music or any of these other art forms, because that's the thing about this art and entertainment, is it's so subjective. There's people I trust out there when they talk about some of this stuff, but there's some of the people, like, about a movie, like whether it was good or not, and there's some people I listen to, I'm like, oh, okay, well, good, thank you for your insight, but I'm hearing you, but I can't take your word for it. I have to see it for myself. There are people out there I do trust and take their word. Like, you guys know me, I watch the John Campea show pretty much every day, and on a lot of points he makes, I absolutely agree. And there's some of the things that he talks about, and I'm like, yeah, nope. Like, I trust you. You hold a lot of credibility for me here, but there's just, some of the stuff you're just wrong about. I'm sorry, I don't agree with you there. Russell Benjamin says, just because we will see it doesn't mean it will be seen. We are in it for the character, and Sony is in it for the money. I think a little bit of yes and no as far as that is concerned. I mean, Sony's not in it for the money. I mean, all these studios are in it for the money. Disney's in it for the money. They're all in it for the money. That's why they bought the IP. That's why they bought the intellectual property of Spider-Man, is to make money. So, while I get what you're saying, I think you're talking about more like they don't care about the character. They only want the money. And to that, I disagree as well. Only because they would have never worked out a deal with the MCU and Disney and Marvel Studios and all that if they didn't care about the character. Now the thing is they can really only care so much because they're doing this as a collaboration with Disney and Marvel Studios. They don't have to. If there's any character out there who can survive on their own out of all of these Marvel characters, it's Spider-Man. It's definitely Spider-Man that can survive out there in his own single world without having to be tied into everything else. And we can see even like Venom was big enough that he can survive outside of the MCU without even Spider-Man being there. Now, I'm sure we could all make the argument, and we would, if you ask me, we would all be right, that Venom needs Spider-Man. The Venom movies need Spider-Man, absolutely. But the thing is regardless, Spider-Man is one of those characters, just like a Superman, just like a Batman, who could actually go out there and exist as his own standalone world without being tied into anything else and be successful. A lot of these other characters can't do it, and I think that's why they built the Marvel Cinematic Universe, aside from the fact that Kevin Feige wanted to see all these things on screen and all of them come together. But, like, is an Iron Man going to stand on his own? Is a Thor going to stand on his own? Is a Captain America going to stand on his own? Is a Captain Marvel going to stand on her own? Or what about Black Panther? You know, I don't think most of these characters, like Captain America, out of all of those characters and all the ones we have in the MCU, would probably be the one that could stand alone more on his own. Maybe a Doctor Strange, just because the type of character he is with the magic and the, you know, all that different stuff that he does. Maybe him, but I think out of all of those, Captain America, but I think even Spider-Man blows all these people away. So yeah, I mean, there's that. My name is Mr. Fucking Confused. Where's Spider-Man? Oh right, clickbait. There's no real clickbait here. We're talking about Spider-Man. That's what we're talking about, is the future of Spider-Man in the MCU. So yeah, that's okay. And I'm okay with being clickbait, because if you got a problem with clickbait, you probably don't know what the clickbait is. If you know, and I've talked about this constantly here on my channel as well. Being on YouTube, having websites, it's clickbait. You have to get people to click on your articles. Variety, The Hollywood Reporter, all of these places, they're clickbaiters too. They have headlines. They put provocative headlines on their stories to get you to click on them. And what's that called? Don't tell nobody this, but it's called clickbait. That's what it's called. That's the name of the game. You're not going to click it. If I wouldn't have put nothing on Spider-Man, if I would have just said, hey, morning movie chat, and that's it, you know what I mean? Like, that's even too much. Like, oh, you're not talking about movies. You're talking about Spider-Man. Come on. Like, you know, come at me with something better, Mr. My name is Mr. Fucking Confused. You are fucking confused. You are fucking confused, okay? Let me just put that out there for you. I normally try to keep this PG here, but yeah. Fucking confused. Russell Benjamin Wells says, I bet you have him flee New York because his identity has been revealed. He will go to San Francisco to lay low, where he will have an interaction with the Venom symbiote and get his black symbiote suit. And that very well could be. Very well could be. Maverick Pilgrim says stealth suit. Yeah. All these different things are totally possible, and we've seen a lot of these. Just, you know, in kind of there. Like I was talking yesterday, you know, like with the symbiote suit. I mean, really, what he's got with with the Stark armor suit, with the Stark Spidey suit, that's really symbiotic in a way if you think about it. You know what I mean? It's like a symbiote. Now, it's not like Venom is, where it thinks for him and does all this stuff, but it really kind of has a mind of its own. Russell Benjamin Wells says, this will be the cinematic equivalent of a premature nut after chasing the girl of your dreams for damn near a decade. Oh, man. I'm glad I already went rated R on the show today, because, oh, man. Oh, Russell, yes. Yes, great analogy. That is kind of the same thing. I mean, we've had this build up, and the thing is like, I'm okay with them being separate. And the thing is who's to say that Sony, they're not still going to do Sony movies that still tie in and are intermingled with the MCU? They're just saying that Kevin Feige won't have the producer and like basically creative control over him. And that's not to say that Kevin Feige is going to be like, okay, here's what we want. Can you please do this? Ooh, don't do that. And you know, and then go ahead, you know, do whatever you want. That's just if you ask me if you want us to continue to play ball with you, you know what I mean, as far as that goes. What's he say? Sorry, I don't agree with keeping them in separate studios. Just look how well that's working with Sony. Shows how much greed can affect deals. Trying to do this with more studios leaves more room for inconsistency and even more greedy hands. And that's true. And that's the thing. Like, they initially made that deal, and I believe there's still movies on that contract. The thing is, they made the initial deal. Make sure that you make, like, when you're making a deal with Disney and Marvel Studios, you know that you're in good hands. You know what I mean? You're in good hands with Feige. You know what I mean? He's better than Allstate here. You know, he's got a good track record. So that's something they definitely need to take into consideration when making these deals. So I understand what you're saying there. I mean, I get it. They do. Yeah, like I said, there is greed to it, and but again, to me, I think that's the big thing is keeping the studio. If it's fine if they keep them separate, but when it comes time to work together, work together. Try to make these, like, just make these deals. Say, okay, here's what we're willing to do with, and negotiate this before you ever even do anything. Have X amount of films set in stone before you ever even do anything. Say, okay, we've got this plan. We're gonna go and do these 3 movies. After that, we don't know what's up. So when we create our stories that we're gonna make these 3 films with you with, we're gonna leave that third movie. That third movie is going to be an ending point for that character. Done. Absolutely done. Done deal. We're gonna just cap it off where it can just be done, and that's it. In a way, not like Far From Home was ended, and then after that, as time goes on, after the first 2 movies, we'll see if we can renegotiate a deal for another 1 movie, another 3 movies, or just some crossover events. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of where some of that could come in at. But again, like you're saying, the room for inconsistency, and that's kind of thing they need to lay on the table. Is like, if we do these 3 movies and we can't come to a deal after these 3 movies, know that we don't want you to go make some more movies in the future and then expect to come back and make a movie with us again, because in there comes that inconsistency. So we need to come up with something after these 3 movies that will be mutually beneficial to us, and that's what we need to think about, because after those 3 movies, and especially after the first 2 in this case, we know that it's been successful, we found a formula, it works, and we can do something forward, and we need to think more about that in these next 3 movies. And then if you guys want to do movies of your own at your own studio, aside from these movies that we're going to make mutually together, we need to make sure that you're not going to go out there and toss a monkey wrench into these intersecting, these crossover events that we're doing with these characters. So that's something they all need to think about, and I think that's part of probably where they're having a lot of the breakdowns in the deal making here. I definitely think so. Drew Boss 5 says, "How you doing, you old pirate? So good to see you." Are you talking about, like? Yeah, I know. I need to shave some of that stuff there, man. All that gray shows my age. Maverick Pilgrim says, "I got that reference." Oh man, I can't remember which one it was I was talking about. Russell Benjamin Will says, Disney clearly wasn't in it for the money, with Spider-Man taking a 5% cut to allow their character to be in their other movies. They could have done." They could have done Infinity War and Endgame without Spider-Man and still had the success, in my opinion. Oh yeah, certainly. They certainly could have. That's not even a question. That's not even a question, because they were having success far before they brought Spider-Man into the MCU. They could have put anybody else in there to fulfill that role. There's other like even younger teenage heroes they could have brought in. There's just a whole wealth of other characters that they could have brought in. So yeah, I mean the MCU would have still had the same success regardless. Now the thing is would Sony have had the same kind of success with Spider-Man regardless? And the honest truth is they would have had success, but would they have had as big of success? Because that they wouldn't have, and they definitely wouldn't have had the success doing a new Spider-Man at the same time that they did Spider-Man Homecoming, or even bringing him into the MCU in Captain America Civil War. They wouldn't have had that kind of success because they threw him into a universe that was already being established, full of quality. And if they would have done that at the same time, you're looking at the fact that Sony is rebooting Spider-Man again within X amount of years. Was like 2 years again from when they just released their last film. You know what I mean? So I think that plays into it, that they wouldn't have had that success with Spider-Man in a solo standalone universe at all. So I'll definitely give you that, because they wouldn't have had that same success making their own standalone film out of the MCU. Because, like I said, people would have been like, we're getting an other Spider-Man reboot, and it's gonna be just like the Andrew Garfield one was when they rebooted that. You know, it would have been the exact same thing, like you're saying. It would have been insanity. It would have been the actual definition term of insanity. The dictionary term, I guess, the dictionary term of insanity. Maverick Pilgrim says, if you see how Sony handled Spider-Verse, they are not totally clueless in making fan-approved content without Feige. They could make a good movie, and they have learned a lot about comic book movies. And that's the thing, is I do believe that. I do believe that you're absolutely right. But again, would they have had that same success? One of the reasons I think that Spider-Verse was successful is it was still based on the character, but it wasn't tied into the MCU. It wasn't just a Spider-Man reboot. And I think that's part of the reason why they were so successful with that. Aside from everything else that they did in that movie, having Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who are, to me, if you ask me, they're great writers and they are great producers when they really get in on something and get down and into some content that they really enjoy. In case you haven't heard me talk about it multiple times here, I still would like to see the Lord Miller version of Solo. It's something I would have liked to have seen, because I think, regardless of what anybody on the production and everything was thinking, I think they had a solid movie on their hands. And I think that's one of the downfalls of that movie for Disney as far as making money is concerned, because they had these people hired. They still gave them producer credits. You spent that money. You fired them. You brought in a new director. Somebody else you had to pay. Somebody else you had to, for all these different things. All these reshoots. It just upped the production value. And when in the first place, I would have rather just seen Lord Miller's version of it. So there's a lot of things that play into that. But does that mean just because they did a successful cartoon, does that mean that Lord Miller or somebody else could have came in and done a successful Spider-Man in the Sony verse just as big a success as they had in the MCU? Because I think part of the success was the fact that Spider-Man was tied into the MCU. And like I said, that tying into it is what got people out to see it, because people aren't just sitting there thinking, oh great, Sony's doing another reboot of this character. And I think some of that kind of plays into it. I think some of that kind of plays into it as well, where Spider-Verse wasn't tied into that. Plus, it was animated, so I think there's just some of that. Broseph Russell, what's up, man? Clickbait me some bacon, right? That's the thing. Like, this dude coming in here, my name is Mr. Fucking Confused. Yeah, you're confused, bro. Like, clickbait. That's the name of the game, bro. You gotta click on my stuff. And by the way, man, Broseph Russell, if you guys should go check out his channel. He does a lot of cool content, like promoting different products and just some of the different things that he does, going on some of the hikes and stuff that he does. But this dude, I'm telling you, he makes a mean barbecue sauce. But I've seen some of the other things he's done as well, man. He's just some of the stuff he shows, some of the stuff that he makes there on his channel, man. This dude knows his cooking as well, man. So you guys should go check out Broseph Russell. But believe me, if you have some clickbait bacon, I'll take some, brother. Maverick Pilgrim says DC could learn some things from Sony at this point, and they could. And I think slowly but surely DC, they're on the DCU. They're starting to get a stride. They're starting to see some successes. And I think they've learned from their past as well as what's going on with the MCU. One thing, DC and Marvel have always been going at it head to head. But the thing is sometimes there comes a point where instead of competing against each other, you got to think that you're just in competition with each other. And I talk about this a lot too. Just because you're competing doesn't mean you're competing against each other. You need to take those lessons that you learned from the Marvel Cinematic Universe and put those into your universe, without the fact of doing like, we're going to try to do these big epic movies with nothing really big leading up to it. And I think that was part of their big downfalls was, and people have talked about that constantly, them just trying to keep pace with the Marvel Cinematic Universe in that way, and they're not going to do it. They're not going to be successful trying to do that. They need to learn to you got to crawl before you walk, and that's how they're going to find their success. And I think they're getting there. Drew Boss 5 says, diet's nuts. Is that supposed to be D's nuts? D's nuts. Showback TJC, welcome to the live stream. Thank you for being here, sir. Hope you're having a great day. Russell Wells Benjamin says, Sony Sony Animations is much more prepared to handle the Spider-Man IP than their live film department, and that's true, and that's also because they did something unique in that movie. To bring that animation to life. It wasn't just your traditional animation that we get in all of these other animated cartoons out there. It wasn't, I mean, while it was all digital, it's not just like these 3D digital cut and paste kind of things. And I don't mean cut and paste like that's a bad thing, because by that by means is not easy stuff to do. But they didn't just do the same old animation that they were doing. They took a unique try at it to make that successful. Maverick Pilgrim says, Russell, you're probably right, but if Sony was left alone with Spidey, I think you'd see some Spider-Verse producers helping based on their success. And that's true. That's true. I absolutely agree with that. I mean, I think at this point they've learned enough from Kevin Feige and the movies that they've had, and just everything else has been set up where they can, intermingle all of the things that they've done and mash them all together to be successful going forward. And I think just based off of what Sony said, obviously, there's some politics at play here too, is that Sony kind of realizes that they know that Kevin Feige and the MCU has helped them to go forward and to help hopefully be successful. Broseph Russell says, "Thanks, brother." No, man, thank you, man. And like I said, you guys go check out his channel, Broseph Russell, super legit dude. He's somebody here local in my area. Used to work with this man. I won't call him a young man because he's got a few years on me. Definitely a cool dude, man. You guys go check out his channel. You'll see on his channel, man. He's a funny dude, man. He's a funny guy. And definitely loves his outdoors, man. Definitely loves his outdoor stuff. You guys should go check him out. And Maverick, I hope so, bro. But damn, that's a big what if. Hey, and what if is what MCU is getting ready to do right now. Maverick Film says, "What if is now Marvel too? They now own our dreams, right?" That's exactly where I was getting ready to go with that too, man. They do, man. They own it all. They own it all. Russell Wells Benjamin says, "I guess I'm more of a sure thing kind of guy than gambling a successful franchise with the crackhead studios that's blown their Spider-Man budgets 5 times over and are still out here looking for a fix." Yeah, I get you, but again, to me, that comes down to something that, I mean, and that's just for any film in the first place. Is when it comes to making these movies, most of them are gambles, and that's why I say, I've talked about Disney studios at times. People are talking about their live action remakes, and they're just doing too much of it and things like that at this point. Is the fact that right now Disney's not in a spot where they can really risk, like, go out there and gamble and take some of those risks, even though they are, but they're taking risks on things that they know, that they believe are surefire things to make them money. I don't think they have the money right now to be taking some of those risks out there, making some different type of content. You know what I mean? And that's something I think YouTube content creators kind of realize is like, okay, like I make this certain niche of videos. If I go and do something else, I'm taking this risk of losing some audience members, and I'm also taking the risk of gaining some other audience members that may come to my channel that like this particular stuff that I'm covering, but not like some of my other hub content, the stuff that I regularly do that I'm more passionate about. So I mean, again, there's always a gamble. There's always a gamble when we're talking about these things. But you've also got to take into consideration how much of a gamble that you want to take. Like I said, I don't think Disney's at the point right now where they can take those big kind of gambles because of their stockholders and investors, as well as the public reactions to everything and just those kinds of things. So they're still playing it safe in a way as much as they can. So there's definitely that. Russell Wells Benjamin says, "I wonder if Marvel could do a Spider-Man what if to complete this arc." They could. And I don't know. Well, because that animated series, it's going to be an animated series on their streaming service, and I'm sure they don't have a deal like that with Sony. So we probably won't see Spider-Man in any of the Disney streaming service. I'm willing to bet there's absolutely no way they ever made that deal. I believe Marvel still has some animation rights. I could be wrong, but I've seen Spider-Man in Marvel animations before. Right, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know, because a lot of that stuff, those animations before were done by Marvel. What was it? Marvel Entertainment something. It was under a different branch. Kind of like the Netflix Marvel stuff was under a different branch of what they couldn't do. Russell Benjamin says, episode titled, "What If Sony Weren't Crackheads?" Right? Well, and again, I think in this particular situation, it's not exactly Sony's fault. I think, again, this is a 50-50 deal. They were kind of given an offer they couldn't necessarily accept. And as well as, like I said, I think they're probably trying to offload a little bit of responsibility off of Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige, because he's, like I said, he's got a lot on his plate. Entertainment Hacker, welcome to the live stream. Thank you for being here, sir. Popped in to give you a like. I am here. Oh, 1 a.m. here. Woof, man. Yeah, I was gonna say, I know it's pretty much later there. I mean, you're probably a day ahead of us, I'm guessing, not just like 7 hours behind. Would that be? I don't know. I guess you could be behind. I'm not for sure how that works or all that stuff. I'm not geographically inclined right now. But again, thank you for being here. If you guys haven't been to Entertainment Hacker, you guys should go check him out. He talks a lot about some of the things going on in the news media and different things like that. So you should definitely if you're into that kind of content, go check him out. Leave some comments on his videos. Tell him what you think. Like I said, for us content creators, that's one of the most important things for you guys to leave us comments and leave us feedback, so we know what we can grow on, and we have things to talk about. Just like I had some stuff I wanted to talk about, and we got here into the live chats, and we're just chatting it up, and that's kind of how it goes sometimes. I'm not even getting to some of the other things I want to discuss because I got it in this live stream in just a few minutes. Almost at 400. Nice, yeah, man. Slowly climbing up there, slowly but surely. Building a great audience of engaged viewers that I have here, man. I've got some awesome people coming on board and subscribing to the channel, and even if you're here on my channel and you're not providing feedback or anything, or liking the videos or disliking them or anything, I appreciate you being here. You're helping grow my channel. I do greatly appreciate that, whether you like my content or not. But if you do or don't, please let me know. I'm totally open to those criticisms, and please be as harsh as you would like. I'm totally open to those kind of things. Chillmonger, welcome to the live stream, man. And again, anybody here on my show, this is Chillmonger is a young man I want to bring onto my channel one of these days, because I like his perspective on things. He's a very level-headed dude. He just did a video yesterday talking about Spider-Man in the MCU as well, so you guys should go check out his video that he did, because I think he brings up some very valid points and has a very good outlook of this situation and what's going to be happening going forward with the MCU. And I'd definitely like to get on his channel. You guys should go check him out. Chillmonger is the name of his channel, and you get on his channel and you'll see why it's Chillmonger. You'll see why his name is Chillmonger, man. But again, a great dude. Good morning. Would you watch a Spider-Man film if it weren't in the MCU canon? Yeah, totally. I mean, I own 5 of them, right? And I would totally watch a Spider-Man film if it wasn't in the MCU canon. To me, like I said, it doesn't have to be canon. I just want good quality movies. And we've seen that there's been plenty of movies out there done that aren't MCU canon that have been good and been found a degree of success. So I don't think that everything has to be in the MCU. I just think that for what the MCU is doing, it would be great if all these studios would just play ball, at least for a little bit of time, to get some of these things tied in. Not only will it help the MCU, but it will help bolster their movies as well. So again, I think it always comes down to helping play nice. Like, God, who is it that owns the rights to? Is it Universal that still owns the rights to the Incredible Hulk? They've been playing nice. I mean, they haven't allowed them to make a standalone movie. But if they were smart, if they wanted to make a standalone movie, they would be smart to say, "Hey, we want to make this movie. Kevin Feige, can we ask for your input? And what should we do to make a successful Incredible Hulk film? And what should we put in it and out of it, so where we can continue to make this character and play in a separate movie, but still where it can be integrated into your universe? What would you like us to do?" We're not saying we're going to give you complete control over this, but we want your input, because we want to continue to play ball to make these successful films together. I truly believe that's something that they should do. So yeah, I would definitely watch a Spider-Man film not in the MCU canon. Again, I'm a lot like you, Chillmonger, in the fact that when I heard this news, like, I was upset by it, but like, I'm not like gonna be triggered and be like, "What? Oh my God, they're yeah, I don't know. To me, it's just silliness." But again, Chillmonger, thank you for being here. And now I got to get you on the show one of these days, man. And I know that I believe you work overnights, and I know you're a few hours behind me. You're more on that East Coast time. So if there's ever a time that we can get together and do a video together, let me know when that is. Like here, typically I try to be off here by 9 a.m. Here on the West Coast. But if there's a time in the evening, but like before you go into work, if you're still working overnights there, if there's a time in the evening that works for you, or a time during the day where we can get together and do something, I think that would definitely be something I'd like to do with you, man. Because definitely a cool dude. I'd like to bring you onto your channel. And, Chillmonger, I believe he's got 124 subscribers. Guys should go check him out. Subscribe to his channel, and get him to. We need to get that. We need to get this dude to 1,000. You know what I mean? We need to get Chillmonger to 1,000 subscribers. I'm not even worried about me. Like, my thing's slowly growing, but Chillmonger is a dude. Like, another great channel. I like to see other people be successful. You know what I mean? Especially great people. He says it is too late now for me to watch a superhero flick that isn't in a connected universe. Okay, fair enough, and that's fine, and I totally understand that, because that's the beauty of it, is because they all get to tie together. Now, like I said, if it was a standalone film, I would still watch it, because, like I said, I think he's one of the characters who could totally exist outside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a standalone film. And thanks for the plug. Yeah, no problem, dude. Like I said, I love your channel and you love the content you're putting out. And like I said, I can tell you're just a great, genuine dude. Yeah, Disney's playing the long game, and they need to. They need to play the long game, and at least they're being somewhat smart about it, in the fact that they're still playing ball. They're still open to making these deals. They're not shutting anybody out, but they're at the same time. I think they're saying, like, man, we've got a lot of stuff going on in our universe that we can't just. We don't want to just push everything out. They're open to that kind of stuff. It looks like we may have some Japanese viewers in here. Do you know Karasawa Takahiro? I don't think I do. He is a lawyer of Sony. Okay, he's one of the lawyers there. All right, I didn't know that. Hello, welcome to the live stream. Yeah, like I said, it looks like we got some Japanese viewers here, and I'm gonna guess that some of these Japanese viewers come in here by means of my friend there, Entertainment Hacker. Probably must have shared this or something similar like that. And thank you guys all for being here. Everyone's saying Sony is Japanese company. Yeah, they're Japanese company, definitely. Damn, Sony, Spider-Man was sucked. Your face is Karasawa Takahiro. Sony is great. Yeah, and like I said, I'm not against Sony. Like I said, I'm not one of these people who's out there against Sony or anything that they're doing. I mean, they're all in business, and they've got to make business decisions, and we as fans, we may not like it. You know what I mean? We may not like it. And they'll probably see backlash for that. We can see that the backlash comes from every direction these days, for different reasons, for one reason or another. So yeah, that's totally. I mean, like I said, there's nothing wrong with people having these views, but as long as they're informed views is the most important part. When making these kinds of decisions. But again, people are free to have their own thoughts on this stuff. We could collaborate. Doesn't got to be live. We could figure something out. Yeah, totally. Yeah, we'll figure something out. Chillmonger. We've got to do that. Holy Asians, welcome Far East. Yeah, I know. Like, cool, man. Like, thank you all for being here. And in case you guys don't know, my wife is Japanese. My children are half Japanese, and they're more Japanese than they are everything else that I am. Because believe me, I'm half Mexican and a whole lot of other stuff after that. But yeah, certainly. And you know what? One of these days, man, I see all these beautiful pictures of Japan. My wife and her family, they're actually from Kagoshima. And one of these days, I want to, she wants to go out there and visit her family, but I want to go out and just visit Japan, man. I see all these, and even like China and things like that. Like, I see all these pictures and everything, just that I see all people sharing online. I'm like, man, absolutely beautiful country there, man. Beautiful, just beautiful stuff. And plus, I've never been out of the United States, like not even to Mexico or Canada, you know what I'm saying? And they're bordering countries of ours, and I haven't made it to there, but I would love to go to some of those places to visit. Who says F Disney? Yeah, and you're free to feel that way. Like I said, there's still just so many things going on with a lot of this stuff that it's hard to say, where we're gonna end up at in the end. You looks like Wara-san. Okay, I don't know who that is. His new Viren, Dragon Ball. Oh yeah, Dragon Ball. Yeah, I've got it tattooed on there. I got Goku tattooed on me. I love Dragon Ball. You know, and that's something I need to go through. I need to do some of those. I need to do some go back and watch some of the old Dragon Ball episodes. I own all those on. The only thing I don't own on DVD is Super. I need to go back and watch some of those and do some reviews on those and talk more about some of those anime properties here on my channel, because I'm not really into a whole lot of anime, but Dragon Ball is definitely one that I'm into. I remember Ninja Scroll was really great as well. Which do you like, Japan or Korea? Like me in particular, like I said, my wife is Japanese, so I definitely like Japan. I don't really know as much about as much as Korea as I probably should, and that also comes to exposure as well. You know, who the people I grew up with and who I'm exposed to. Like my wife is, like I said, is Japanese, so 50-50. The request is awkward. I'm not sure what we're talking about here. I'm Japanese, but I like Far From Home. Yeah, Far From Home. It was a great movie. It was a great movie. Maverick Pilgrim says it's all business. It's always business. It's always been like this. We just now have social media and trolls. Yeah, and that's the thing, you know. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just how much do these companies look into that? You know, they've got to weigh all these things, all this input. You know, try to be subjective about it and weigh it for what it is, because we can see some people out there are trolls, and some people are out there legitimately have their strong feelings about things. So yeah, what is your favorite baseball team? I don't watch baseball. I don't really watch sports anymore except for cycling. I'm a cyclist, so I'm definitely into that. Won't you evaluate what Sony has been doing since 2002, as far as just like their Spider-Man films or their movies altogether? Because we know that Sony has definitely, while they've had successes, they've also had a lot of non-successes as well. And I could probably get into all that. It's just some of the stuff I don't really care about. Some of these things I can't read. Okay, now we got somebody in here saying F Japan. Like, come on, guys. Like, let's be civil here. You know, have your opinions, but you don't have to. Let's not be rude to each other here, guys. Okay. But again, I am getting ready to. I'm Korean, Japanese down. Yeah, and see, and that's the funny thing. Like, a lot of these Asian cultures, like, you know, people look at America and be like, oh, like, you know, like Americans. I'm talking about Americans here. Talk about all the racism and everything going on in the United States. But have we taken a look around the world and seen how other things are in other countries? Like, it's not so bad here. This is a melting pot. I'm part of a fan of watching all of MCU work. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I want to see all of these studios work together to make these movies and things like that. It mutually benefits everybody. Like, one of these days, maybe, just maybe Warner Brothers and DC will start to have some success and start to do things good. And maybe just one of these days, wouldn't it be crazy if we got one of those DC Marvel crossover events? That would be absolutely mind blowing. But again, they're not going to do that without DC having some success. He says, "Hey brother, I need to get back to work, but take care, bro. Signed up for your Patreon. Thank you for having these consistent morning live streams." Well, thank you for being here, and thank you, Russell Wells Benjamin. I do appreciate that. I appreciate all of you being here once again. That's all I've got for this live stream today. Maybe we'll go ahead and talk about some more of this tomorrow morning on Friday, as more of this information rolls out from Sony, from Disney, from Marvel Studios, and different things like that. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of breaking news on this constantly. We'll probably be talking about this quite a bit over the coming days, and probably even more after D23, so I guess we'll see what's going on with that. Again, thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel today. If you haven't already, please make sure you're subscribed. Click the little bell so you get notifications anytime I've uploaded new content. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you don't, hell, give it a thumbs down. It's all good. But while you're at it, make sure you share it with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the Second Street Marvel. You all have a very good day. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.